All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto all Joachim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. And it's a brother Korah Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson that Lord willing to be edifying. And, sitting here doing a little meditating as we currently are in the Day of Atonement. Which the Day of Atonement is, it started yesterday, which was Tuesday at sundown. And it's going to end today, Wednesday at sundown. And it's a day in which we afflict our soul. And not eating, not drinking for 24 hours. You see, and other, whatever little things that we may get into, is likened unto a Sabbath, But as I was sitting here this morning, kind of meditating and considering this very day, this topic came to mind. That's what I want to touch on. And it's to the point to where, as the Lord took us out this world, there's many, many things that we do that the world is not involved in, as far as putting off the flesh. It's many different practices, that we tune into, as far as putting off this world. You see, and whether it's a high holy day like the Day of Atonement to as everybody else in the world, mainly America, feeding their face, indulging into more lust, so on and so forth. We are here afflicting ourselves, considering, our walk, examining ourselves, so on and so forth. And there's many other days, and if it's not a high holy day that we do this on, the Lord gave us the wherewithal to do these things, within our personal walk. And the thing is that what I was thinking about is fasting, afflicting our soul or afflicting the flesh, struggling, whatever it may be, right? Not indulging in this world like the people do because we serve the Lord. Look at it as, for example, like today, the Day of Atonement. Don't look at it as, oh, my God, I can't eat. Oh, my God, I can't drink nothing. You see? Oh, my coworker drinking and eating. I can't if you at work, right? But more so, look at it as preparation for Jacob's trouble. Look at it as practice. You see? Again, the times we coming into, everybody gonna have to do this. Jacob's trouble, Jacob's trouble. Once that famine comes, it's gonna be likened unto a Day of Atonement every day in Jacob's trouble. A lack of food and lack of drink, and that's gonna be a lot of time. The first time for a lot of people when Jacob's trouble hit that they would ever had to go in their life without eating or drinking. Especially these Americans. You got some Americans 50 years old, 60 years old, never went one day without eating and drinking or indulging in American society. So think about how they go react in a situation as such when all hell break loose and these comforts be taken away. You see? And that's what I was thinking about earlier. But at least the Lord have us, whether it be a high holy day, our personal walk, or whatever it may be, the Lord have us practicing abstaining from this current world. Like it says, 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter. To put away earthly cares and earthly desires because there's evils coming to this world. Well, the point is we are practicing those things now. But look at it as preparation. Look at it as preparing ourselves mentally for the time to come and not as it feel right now just because you can't eat in the moment, right? Just because you can't drink in the moment. Look, sundown will come in a couple hours. You're okay. So look at these days and these times that we have to afflict ourselves while the world is going about their day-to-day life. Look at it as early preparation for Jacob's trouble. You see, matter of fact, let me get this real quick. This 2nd Ezra 14, since I mentioned it. This 2nd Ezra 14, I'm going to get this in the GNT, and we're going to move on. Straight to the point. 2nd Ezra 14 and verse 14 in the GNT, it says, then say goodbye to this mortal life, and it's going into the end of the world coming. So the mindset we should have as we enter into the end of the world, it says, then say goodbye to this mortal life, put earthly cares away from you, throw down your human burdens and lay aside your weak human nature, and put all your anxieties aside and get ready to leave this world quickly. It says you have seen many evil things already, but far worse things are about to happen. So you see the times we coming into the end of the world. This is the mindset we should have. Let's read it again. It says, put earthly cares away from you. And that's what going through these high holy days, afflicting our souls, whether your personal fast, whatever it may be, the Lord have us going through practice periods of putting off the world, right? He have us going through days of like mock Jacob's trouble, if that makes sense, right? To where we have to abase ourselves, right? To where we can't indulge in lust with the world. Even on the Sabbath days, the Sabbath is, don't look at that. Oh, it's a Sabbath today. I can't have sex, right? No, we don't have to look at it like that. Look at it as if this just a prep period for abasing ourselves, a prep period for not doing what the world doing. And again, I was thinking about that earlier. When you put it in that perspective of it, it really is practice for the time we coming in, but it take away that burden of feeling like I can't eat today. No, when you put it in another perspective on as far as like you working, to build your spirit, you working to build your trust in the Lord. It make it easier to fast. It make it easier to go through certain things that we may not be able to do that the world could do. If that makes sense, we're able to accept it a little more, if that makes sense. I don't know, said a whole lot, but let's continue. It says, put all your anxieties aside and get ready to leave this world quickly, man. You see, so let me get this, because I mentioned this as well, a base and a bound. A base and a bound. And again, that's this world going on, they day-to-day, doings. We over here practicing, strengthening our spirit, that inward man, which that's what's going to matter in the time to come. Let me get this Philippians 4:12. I'm going to read this in the NIV. Philippians 4:12 in the NIV, it says, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. And see, that's what we're experiencing in this truth. The Lord may bless us at times, and the Lord may have us while we're struggling at times. It says, but I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether I am well fed or hungry, whether I live in plenty or in want. And see, us come and serve the Lord, this is what we experiencing. The Lord have us times where we are abounding, we have a lot, we living good, we in the spirit, things going well. Then he have times where we have to abase ourselves. Right? Whether it's in your personal life, you taking some L's, your money low, you got problems here and there, health problems. Or if it's like a day like today, where us as believers, we have to abase ourselves while the world's still going on. Like the world's still going on, but our whole life, our day-to-day is completely different from them. We can't tap into what they tapping into. You see? Even on the Sabbath, we can't tap into things these people tap into. So we learn how to abase and abound, whether it's concerning resources, or whether it's concerning our mindset. Let's read it again. Philippians 4:12 in the NIV. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. And that's going to be a main factor for the times we coming into. Because Isaiah 33:6 says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. So when Jacob's trouble fully hit, one, we already put ourselves in certain situation as the days go be in Jacob's trouble. You see? And two, we already was told what's to come. So therefore, when these things happen, we won't, Lord willing, lose our mind or be caught off guard like the people of the world. Or as soon as your stomach start growling, you give up and go get the MOTB so you can eat. See, we going through our stomach growling and fighting that now, right? The preparation period now, man. See, the Lord, yeah, a person could look at the Lord high holy days and laws as if it's grievous, but really, when you really think about it, at the end of the day, once it's all said and done, going through these high holy days, putting off the flesh, so on and so forth, it's going to be beneficial that we took part in these days once hard times come, because we going to be used to, right, putting off. We going to be used to not feeding ourselves, man, feeding the flesh, you know, but rather trusting in the Lord and being spiritual in those times because we practicing it now. So it says Philippians 4:12, NIV, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want, and it's the point. And because I can do all things through Mashiach who strengthens me, man. See, we have Yahweh Shai. See, we tap out of the things and comforts of this world, and we tap into Yahweh Shai. And that's where the strength comes from. That's where the ability to have a clear mind, a stable mind, and motivation to keep fighting comes from Yahweh Shai. Because see, once these people want food, they ain't got food, drink, their iPhone, when they ain't got social media, when they ain't got, a bottle to pick up and drink, they ain't gonna have nothing else to go to for comfort. You see that? We still gonna have Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to pray to look for divine intervention in those times, and ultimately to have a sane mind, understanding the prophecies and things that's going to come. These people ain't going to have no idea. So look at these days as us afflicting our souls as a benefit or practice for the time to come. You see? For the time to come, like it's saying 1 Corinthians 11. What it say? That when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, so we don't have to be judge. Let me get that real quick. Let me get this real quick, and I got two more and I'll end it. And these two precepts after this is the main ones I wanted. These other precepts is kind of coming to mind as we going. But let me get this real quick, because this kind of what we experiencing right now. 1 Corinthians 11:31. It says, for if we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. And that's what we doing. The Day of Atonement, we sitting here not eating and drinking, judging ourselves, examining ourselves. It says, so therefore, since we doing these things, it would seem as if the Lord don't have to judge us, right? Though we know the Lord's still going to judge us, ask Job. He did everything right. The Lord still judged him. Yahweh Shai did everything right. He still had to go through it. The point is that the point the Lord about to make is that, or Apostle Paul, is that if we judge and examine ourselves, we shouldn't have to be caught out in the world and judged like the people of the world. But even when the Lord do still judge us as the believers, it's a benefit to it because it's chastising us now, so we don't have to be judged with the rest of the world. Let's read it. 1 Corinthians 11:31. For if we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord. Why? That we should not be condemned with the world. So a day like today, the Day of Atonement, this is a little chastisement from the Lord. And really for our benefit, to strengthen us, to strengthen our inward man, to get used to not eating, to get used to not drinking, to get used to when we feeling weak, instead of going pick up a bottle or pick up a hamburger or an ice cream, we go put up a prayer. You see, we go read something, we go do some research or something. You know, tapping into spiritual things, man. That's what these days are really for. It says, but when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, so that we should not be condemned with the world. So see, when the world, Jacob's trouble judgment come, we don't have to be in that same judgment with the people of the world, because they didn't practice these high holy days. They didn't honor the Lord, Sabbath or Day of Atonement, so on and so forth. You know, but let's get this real quick. I got these two and I'm gonna end it. This 2nd Ezra 16. 2nd Ezra 16, I'm gonna start at 2nd Ezra 16 and 35. It says, hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it, and believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. So it's telling us, look, get this word in. Get this word. It says, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Which pains, when a child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So the point I'm bringing this out is because it says, look, hear and understand the word of the Lord. And why? Because judgment is coming. Great plagues are coming, and they're not about to slack up, as we see. The Lord ain't going to slow down his plagues for nothing. So seeing plagues coming, this is what the Lord got to tell us. It says, so even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. The world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And it says, so, O my people, so seeing great plagues are coming, it says, O my people, hear my word. And what's the next step? And make you ready to the battle. So, but check this out. It was told, look, hear the word of the Lord. Why? Because plagues coming. And it says, so since the plagues coming, make yourself ready for the battle. What's the battle? Jacob's trouble. That's the plagues. And how we making ourselves ready? Days like today. Putting off the world. Putting off feeding the flesh. You see? Preparing ourselves, man. See, preparing ourselves well, I'm going to say this because, preparing ourselves ain't physical either. As far as like a prepper, it's mental, but also it's ways to prepare ourselves physically with days like today, putting off, being used to not having. And that's what the Lord teaching us through these times. So don't look at these high holy days like, man, I can't eat, man. You see, man, I wanted a taco today. Right, man, I wanted a margarita. I can't even go get one. No, man, look, you practicing for the game. You practicing for when the world won't have food. And you going to be prepared, Lord willing. So it says, oh, my people, hear my word and make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils be even as pilgrims in the earth, man. So right now we're in a time to prep. I was about to say prep and prepare. But prepping and prepare is the same thing. We're in a time to prepare ourselves. Use today as a preparation period, man. Not as a period like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't eat this. Have it more so I don't want to do that. I don't want to eat this. Right? I'm more locked into the spirit instead of feeding the flesh. Have that mindset instead, man. Fight. You see? Fight. Let's end it with this. Sirach 22. Sirach 22 in the GNT. Sirach 22 and verse 16 in the GNT, and we can end it. It says, a wooden beam can be put into a building so firmly so that an earthquake cannot shake it loose. Right? So it gave that analogy because the next part of this verse we about to read is going to make the point. So like, hold on, they're cutting grass. Let me try to put down this garage. All right, so like I had to pause it. I put down that garage. I didn't want to make all the noise in the phone. But let me bring this out real quick and we can end it. So it made that point, right? Let's read it again. Sirach 22 and 16 in the GNT. It says, a wooden beam can be put into a building so firmly that an earthquake cannot shake it loose. And you have some buildings, they are made are rated for their environment, right? You have to be rated for certain environments, right? Like high wind environments, flood environments, high impact environments. So it's giving the analogy right here that you have certain buildings that a wooden beam got to be put in there so well and firm, right, that they meant to do that so that when an earthquake comes, that building ain't gonna go nowhere. So the reason they're bringing it up, it says a wooden beam can be put into a building so firmly that an earthquake cannot shake it loose. In the same way, a person can be trained to use reason and good sense so well that he keeps his head when a crisis comes. And today is a day as such. We are being trained to put off, trained to afflict ourselves, trained to use reason and good sense. Think about it. When people not eating, not drinking, and have a lack of sleep, that's when their mind mess with them the most. When you don't have food and drink, that's when your emotions and your mind mess with you the most. And you just do, have rash decisions. The thing is that we, on the Day of Atonement and many other days that the Lord have for us, we are at our lowest and we are still trained to apply reason and have good sense even without food, without drink, with a lack of sleep. When those are the main things that drive a person crazy, no food, no drink, no sleep, we are being prepared and trained to still apply wisdom in these very situations, man. Think about that. So therefore, again, a day like today is really a benefit that we are taking part in it, because it's like I look at it as practice for hard times, training for hard times to when we can't have what we want, to when we are without. How will we respond? The same way we go respond if we are eating and drinking. Wisdom should always be in us to apply and not lose our mind because we don't have something to feed the flesh. Let's read it one more time. We can end it. Sirach 22:16 in the GNT. A wooden beam can be put into a building so firmly that an earthquake cannot shake it loose. And a person can be trained to use reason and good sense so well that he keeps his head when a crisis comes. So, for example, like the Day of Atonement, when a famine hit the world, everybody else gonna lose their mind, but us, we should be at least keep our head, for some days, whatever it may be, because we should be used to it or went through it before. And most importantly, have comfort knowing the Lord ain't gonna leave us assed out and starving. But I'm gonna end it right there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Chakwadash, and with that, Shalom.